here we go with another episode of Short Shifts. 10 minutes are on the clock. 10 minutes are on the clock. Now 9:45 is on the clock, but we're not talking about that. We're not counting. I just need to get to the point here, Toph. Get going. Rambles McGee. I have a great topic for you today, Jeffrey, and you don't know what it is yet, do you?
I don't. I was wondering if you were going to tell it to
Ever
us.
get to it? Yeah.
Today, Junior.
I got 3 kids that are sick and home from school all week, so I'm ready to go here. My topic: how do you get faster? How do you get faster? Speed is such an important part of the game today. Being a great skater, being fast, not just fast for your stride and how far you go, like east or north and south, but how quick you can be east to west. So I really wanted to ask you, Mr. Strength Coach, newgmbm.com website, where you can go there for, dude, so many different things. Vechs is doing so many different things. How do you get faster, man? Like, what are ways that kids can get faster?
I love this question because I get this all the time from everyone who talks to me, every player, every parent. I need him to work on foot speed. It's like, foot speed. What do you mean? You mean speed? Is there arm speed? You want him to work on arm speed? No, you want him to get faster, right? It's guys, when we're talking about like any adaptation we're trying to achieve in the body, like speed, power, or strength, first and foremost, you have to realize that it takes time. It's not something that is done overnight. That's why there's not 9-year-old NHL players. You know, they have to go through this process of breaking themselves down and building themselves up every single day for 15, 20 years to be able to get to play in the NHL at those levels, at any level that's high. So you have to remind yourself and understand that if you really want to work on it, it's like anything else. You have to come up with a plan. You think about the end goal. If speed is the end goal that Toph is asking about, let's regress that backwards and let's look at, okay, step by step, year by year, kind of like things that we can be doing depending on when they start and when we're trying to like really have them like peak. I would say that should be like, you know, junior hockey, college hockey is when you want their development to be like really peaking there. And so, like, first and foremost, like, you have to work on the ankle. You have to work on the foot. You have to work on the knee. You have to work on the hip. You have to work on the spine because you want to work on each part individually, and you also want to work on them as a part of the whole. So you can break down into working different pieces on their own when they're younger, built into them learning about, you know, balance and proprioception, all these things, because speed in hockey is not track. Track is just literally running as fast as you can in a straight line. But speed in hockey is not only a straight line. The fastest players in games are not always the fastest players straight line with a puck, without a puck. Like the best players that are the fastest players in the game, you know, it could mean they're great at beating guys wide. It could mean they're really fast at coming out of a quick stop, which is extremely important. I would say probably even more important than top line speed. So you also have to define speed. What I'm trying to say is there's a lot that goes into it, but if we look at it as a developmental pyramid, the bottom of the pyramid is the base layer. When players are younger, and we'll start with that, I would be working on lots of foot and ankle stuff and ground striking. So regressing it like ladders. Everybody has ladders. They're free. Okay, so that's great. Let's use that as a tool. Let's work on being able to go through the ladder with your heel raised for the entire 10-minute session or 5-minute session. Let's work on taking a good first step. I mean, if you want to get faster, you got to go fast. You know, the
Ricky Bobby.
Yeah, that, you know, as they get older and they've learned to control their body and their balance and things like that, that's when you start to add on strength. You know, younger players, you start with body weight strength. And then, you know, as they own that, then you start to add load, whether that's weight vests, which I think is a great thing to invest in if you're going to work out with your younger player at home until they're strong enough to now they use dumbbells and kettlebells and landmines and all these things. We've got to work on strength. And then once they start having strength, then you work on converting that strength to power and then power back into speed. It's a cycle. It's a process. It's a lot of moving parts. But the other thing you guys have to think about is that we don't play on the ground. So you can work on all the sprint mechanics you want off the ice, but sprinting off the ice is nothing like sprinting on the ice. So if you do really want to get faster on the ice, my biggest thing too is you have to be good on your edges. You very much need to have an efficient stride. The most efficient skaters are the most effortless skaters. And the more effortless and efficient your stride is, the longer you can stay at top speed throughout the game, which is very important. Again, hockey is not track. It's not a 100-yard race. You've got to be fast over and over and over and over and over all game, every shift, multiple times a shift, right? So you got to be working on the ice and off the ice.
Love it. Love it. I love what you said from a hockey standpoint about stride efficiency and edges. Edges are everything, man.
Everything.
Like if you're going to work on anything, work on your edges. And that's why like you hear a lot of people that talk about like figure skating before playing hockey.
Yeah.
Like, that's your edges, man. You're going faster in an arc than you are going straight when you're figure skating. That's for sure. And a lot of people will tell you that they figure skated first, and those people are great skaters.
And hockey's so crazy too, because like it's great to be straight line fast. Obviously, everybody wants that. But like most of the game is not just a 10-yard or 20-yard or 50-yard straight line burst. It almost never is.
Never.
You know, there's cuts and you've got to read and you've got to, turn and stop and explode out of your stopping. So for me, it's almost more important to work on agility than it is to work on top line speed. You want to work on both, obviously. But as the summer is getting closer to an end, you want to switch that straight line speed, in my opinion, to more like agility work where you're coming hot out of stops and starts, change of direction, controlling your body, using your eyes, because you can get faster on the ice by using your eyes and your head differently, right? So there's so many things that go into this topic. I could talk about it for like 7 days straight. I'm trying to think of like the simplest ways to give people the simplest, easiest things. So again, single leg work in the ladder is not going to make you faster by moving your feet faster, but it's going to make your ankle stronger, your foot stronger, your proprioception better, which will help you on the ice a ton. And then, guys, young coaches out there with the young players, make them race, make them do races off the ice. It's that easy. You want to get fast, go fast. Sprint twice a week, every week. Monday, Wednesday, Monday, Thursday. When they're young, as you get older, Mondays. As long as they're fresh and you have a good enough warm up, you just get a couple top sets in. Mike Boyle was on our podcast the first year of our podcast, maybe the second. And he said that for decades, he has had his teams that he's worked with at every level sprint once or twice a week on the ice to start practice. That's something I tell every single coach that I talk to now. On your first practice of the week, after they're warm, start with everybody's got to do 5 sprints from the goal line to the blue line. I personally would have them doing with a puck and going down the ice and shooting in stride, because now we're working on multiple skills. And I love that. So for me, that's how I tell coaches to incorporate it, or start at the red line and you got to sprint into like right over the blue line and then shoot in stride by top of the circles. Very simple. But if you do that every Monday, your players are going to get faster.
Yeah, for sure. And I love kind of what you said about just like speed, power, agility. Like they're not separate things. They work together. You know what I mean? So talk just a tiny little bit more, because we don't have that much time, about that, because I feel like, I got to get faster. Oh, so I can only work on things that are like fast sprint type stuff.
Right. Yeah.
Or I got to get stronger. I got to work on just like being a meat.
And then you don't work on speed and you gain too much weight and now you're slow on the ice. Guys, the goal is always to be the best hockey player you can be. If somebody says you need to get faster, yes, work on that. But like, don't stop working on everything else. Work on speed within how you're working on to become a better total package hockey player. The stronger you are, the more force you can put out. You got to think about angles. The ice is not off the ice, so you do have to think about that. Wow, we got a 30-second timer on the YouTube clock. That's cool to help us. So yeah, strength and power will help you get faster. Okay, but hockey is not the ground, so make sure you're really working on your edges. You get power skating done, lessons, whatever it is. We've got 10 seconds. You want to get fast, go fast. Sprint on the ice. It will help. Share the damn show.
Ricky Bobby, share the show.